What is up, everybody? This is the Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 43. So if you listen on Spotify, episode 42 may or may not have posted. I haven't checked. There's something with it. So if you wanted to go back and see or listen to that episode, check out on Apple, iHeartRadio, or any other podcast platform. There's something going on with episode 42 posting Spotify. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. But with that being said, we're here for episode 43, and today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to controlling stress. So one of the biggest things I do in my job, helping people, coaching people, is a lot of stress management, a lot of handling stress, because so many people are stressed out that this is going to be important for you. And if you've heard these, you're a client, or you've been following me for a while, you probably heard me say these. And the reason is because it's that important. It's that important to control stress. If you're not controlling your stress, you're not managing it in a healthy way, then stress is controlling you and everything gets out of control. When we have chronic stress levels, things go to shit. When we did the hormone masterclass, guess what popped up for every single hormone? You want to fuck up your hormones? Be under a lot of stress. Our bodies are designed to get stressed, then remove that stress, recover, become stronger. Stress. Well, if you're just constantly stressing yourself out, it doesn't work. So think of stress a little bit like this. If you go to the gym and you do bicep curls, then you rest, you come back, you're stronger. Awesome. Well, if you go to the gym and you do bicep curls and you don't leave the gym, you do bicep curls literally all day long, then maybe you sleep, and then you next day you start, as soon as you wake up, you start bicep curls again. And you do that every day. Guess what? By the end of the week, you're probably going to have some sort of like joint or tendon issue. And if not by the end of the week, probably the following week. So that's, it's not as an exact example, no, but it gives you an idea of how the body reacts to stress. You stress the body out and it will become stronger. You will be able to tolerate more. Great example is, think about you tried to do something new, or you did something like, think, what were your problems back in like high school or college? You're like, oh my God, that was like the hardest thing ever. And then like now you look back and you're like, that was fucking easy. Yeah, you have adapted. You've got your nervous system actually regulates stress a lot better than back then. However, if you're still stressed out right now, guess what? We have problems. So we want to manage our stress, or our stress is going to be controlling us. And a lot of times we will try to manage stress through unhealthy means. Things like food, alcohol, video games, drugs, or even excessive exercise. Almost like we're using these things to escape reality. So you come home and you just hit the booze. You come home and you run for your ice cream or chocolate or something salty and get that dopamine rush, or you go to the video games or whatever it might be. It's kind of like you're trying to just escape reality and not deal with it. You're like, I'm just not going to think about that for now. And a great way to shut my brain off is to do this. However, all these things are bad for us. Probably listening to this, there's a good amount of the audience, maybe you, who have run to food. I have in the past, I'll admit that, have run to food in times of stress where you're just like stress eating. Yeah, most people are guilty of that at some point in their lives, and you might be going through that right now. We want to identify that and be like, hey, am I actually doing this because of stress or not? Alcohol, this was one I did a lot when I was in-person training, like come home, like really like tons of caffeine in my system, tons of stimulants, still like wired, and like I need to chill out in the next couple hours and relax because I have to do the same thing as like alcohol. Easy, not right, but easy. It's one of those things, like that's the easy solution, but not the right solution. Video games for a lot of people. Drugs, marijuana is a big one where, yes, there are benefits. Well, it depends, politics aside and things, there are benefits to it, but when you abuse it, just like abusing anything, there's a lot of downsides. And then excessive exercise. Again, this is when I would do like trying to like not think about reality for the next 60 to 90 minutes, where you like push yourself way too hard day in and day out, not giving your body a chance to rest. Like I can't like skip the gym. Like if you're like, I can't miss the gym, like No way. I can't think of a day of not going to the gym. Like you might have a slight problem. Like we need to be able to like miss a day and realize that the world's not going to burn down. All right. So here are five healthy ways, and they're going to be boring as fuck. Guess what? The boring shit works. So five healthy ways to start managing your stress. So number one, and these are going to be easy too, fairly easy to implement. So number one is going to be the easiest one to implement. You can do it in under 60 seconds, and that's doing gratitude and alignment every single morning. So you wake up, and the first thing you do is do like a gratitude journal. You do something to get your brain in alignment with your goals for the day or your long-term goals. So what I do with a lot of clients is do a 60-second gratitude journal. You can do longer, but if you're not doing anything, start here. Literally just pen and paper or your notes on your phone, like whip that out. Three things you're grateful for today. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Like just pick three things. Three things. My wife, my dog, my daughter. That I had a chocolate ice cream in the freezer. I'm gonna listen to an podcast and have a vacation coming up. It can be whatever the fuck you want, and you want to try to do different things every single day, and like get your brain working. Like, hey, I'm actually great. Like, I might have a shit going on in my life, but I'm grateful for these things. And you do that every single day, just gets you in a positive mindset for the day rather than I had to wake up early. I feel like shit. I'm not getting the results I want. And alignment is like trying to like think of that person you want to become and trying to like think of like what would that person do today. Like this is what, like, I want to lose 50 pounds. What would 50 pounds lighter me do in a day? And if you don't know the answer, cool, here's a thing, start thinking of that right now. What would be 50 pounds heavier like jacked me doing right now? Like if you want to build muscle, what would uh me making double my income do every single day? It doesn't have to be health and fitness, guys. It can be business, and this works for everything, your career, etc. So what does that look like for me? What does that person do every day? How do they reach their goals? And you start thinking that way, and you're just solving problems. So instead of like, oh, woe is me, I can never get ahead, you but that's not salt. You're like, cool, like this sucks. Like, let's figure out how to get you from point A, where you're at, you're not happy, to point B. That's what I do with a lot of people. Like, they come to me, they're struggling with something. Cool, let's figure out how to get you to point B. Like, it's simple, it's just not easy. So you start your morning with that. It takes 60 seconds to get started. And then if you want to do a more in-depth like routine of like doing like 5 or 10 minutes, you can. But let's keep it super simple. Like I'm doing 60 seconds, guys. Next one, again, boring. Number two, get fucking sleep. I know, super groundbreaking, right? Sleep. So remember when I said we did the hormone masterclass like last month? Yeah, it was last month. It was in March. So we did that. And guess what? In addition to stress fucking everything up, guess what was on every single hormone? You want to fuck them all up? Don't get enough sleep. Sleep's important for everything in your body. Don't get enough sleep. Like if there's a pillar for your results, like your physical results, be nutrition, exercise, sleep. It's like this triangle. Like they're all important. They're all important. So sleep's very, very important. Getting enough good quality sleep. And yes, it can be challenging. Some of you work shift work. Some of you have kids. Like I have a kid and she'll wake me up in the middle of the night. But doing the best you can. Like if you're not getting enough, like you're going to bed super late, like what can you do to, move your bedtime earlier? Get closer to that 7 to 8 hours or 9 hours per night that you really, really need, or continue to stay stuck. Like, even if it's 20 more minutes, like people be like, oh, I only get 5 hours. I can't get 8. Can you get 5.5? Well, yeah, but that doesn't seem worth like literally like if you look at the graph. So buddy mine's physical therapist and he showed me a graph. So if you go back actually, it's one of the early, I think it's within the first 10 episodes of the Wild Nutrition Podcast. Dr. Kevin Hamadi, go back, listen to his. He goes over that there's this curve with injuries with levels of sleep below 6. Like there's a massive increase in the number of injuries you see, and then all of a sudden it decreases. This also goes with mental performance, your mental health, your physical health, and all these other things. Just trying to get past that 6 hour, like get more than 6 hours. That's great. And then it's like, can we get 7? Can we get to 8? A lot of times I'm getting 7, 7.5. Like, I'm not saying I'm here perfect. I try to get 8, but a lot of times it is 7. It is what it is. But you're trying to do the best you can. It's not 5.5. It's not 6. But if it's like, oh, why would I even bother? Like, I'll just stick with 4 hours. Like, you're gonna be fucked. And the funny thing with stress or sleep with stress. So sleep either helps reduce your total stress load when you get adequate amount. So it helps your body manage and reduce the stress. Or if you don't get enough, guess what? It adds stress to your body. So you're either reducing stress or adding stress. It's kind of a black or white. Reduce stress, increase stress. So there's your choices with sleep. But it's not like this thing that, sorry, like it's inconvenient every night, as most of us in America kind of view it. It's like, no, it's really, really important. And you need to treat it just as important as your diet, just as important as your exercise, just as important as everything else. Sleep is super fucking important. I don't know how much more I can tell you. There's a book, I think it's Why We Sleep. If you want to deep dive into how important sleep is, go read the book. It's going to be more detailed than here. Number 3, remove toxicity out of your life. Now, I'm not talking about food toxins or BPA or anything like that. So that is important too. I'm talking about remove people on your social media, reduce social media consumption, and turn the news the fuck off. Turn the news off. Remove toxicity out of your life, toxic people. And if you can't totally get them out, reduce your exposure to them as much as possible. Yes, you might have coworkers who suck or a manager who sucks. Yes, you might have family members who are just awful and stress you the fuck out. Reduce how much you spend time with them. And then also social media. Social media is this super polarizing, weird world. I work on social media every single day. Twitter, I have a Twitter. I do not spend much time on it because it is people's are so toxic on it, and it just adds stress. Like, go look at Twitter and like read some like polarizing things, anything like political, and just start going through the comments and tell me like after 15 minutes if you feel good or if you feel like, I almost feel like I need a shower. Like, what the fuck did I just read? I don't like, I'm not happy. These people are just like shouting random shit in under 140 characters. And a lot of times this is the algorithm. Like, why is this shit popping up? Probably because you watch other bullshit on it and the algorithm switches really quick. So I'm super like, I'm pretty anti-vegan. If you're a vegan listening to this, the hunter here is pretty anti-vegan. Surprise, surprise. Though there's actually a lot of similarities. I have a few past clients that where we actually had very similar beliefs on certain things, just different ways of going about it. That was some funny conversations where she'd be like, well, you are this. Like, no, actually, like, no, like I don't enjoy the killing part, but I enjoy the food. Well, I want to reduce my carbon footprint. Yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing. But we can't afford to do like the White Oak Pastures beef, so I can do venison. Oh wait, we actually have similar viewpoints. Like, yep, actually we do. We're just different techniques. Anyways, that's off topic. So the algorithm is going to switch really quick. The reason I brought up vegan, backtracking now, since I went off a side tangent, I'm sorry about that. I watched a vegan bodybuilder thing really quick, like one time, and all of a sudden I'm getting like all these vegan reels. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh God, I have to like and obviously headlines. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? What bullshit? I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna get fed more and more because I'm stopping watching. I just have to scroll back past as fast as I can every time. And that's exactly what I did. Was like for the past week, it's been like as soon as it's like vegan or it's like, or I see their thing is like vegan in there or plant-based, I'm like, nope, next. I don't want this popping up on my timeline because I'm probably gonna get pissed off at it and it's not helping me. Like, I want to see shit that's gonna help me. So clean up your social media and only view stuff that is going to help you. So what I would recommend is if you can't delete face friends um, or family members, like mute them. And then your social media should be trying to move you towards your goals. So if you're like, I have a goal of starting a business, are you following any actual business coaches? Or are you following a bunch of people who've never started a business? And you're like, oh, it's too hard to start a business. No, just like literally, like a bunch of people are giving shit away for free of how to start a business up in like under a month. Like maybe you should do that. Follow those people. Maybe it's like, I'm really struggling with my nutrition. Are you following people who make or teach about nutrition? Obviously, you're listening to this podcast, but what about people who cook a bunch? What about people who do this? And do not ask me about making cooking videos. My wife has banned me from doing that. Thank you for 2020 COVID. I did that a bunch, and my wife's like, you are never fucking allowed to do that. So until I have the finances to rent out a place to cook or film cooking videos someplace else, can't fucking do it. Not getting a divorce for that. So start removing people. Go through your Instagram, remove any followers who are, and you have to do it every so often because you'll just naturally start following people and you're like, what the fuck am I following? What are they adding to my life? And just go through and start eliminating people. Like they probably don't know, they don't care. Start unfollowing and only follow people who are going to help you move towards your goals. If you look at mine, a lot of it is going to, there's business people, there's obviously my friends and stuff, but business people, there's going to be people on finances, people on hunting, people on the outdoors, like gardening. There's the things I want to get better at. That's what I'm learning about. So instead of toxic, social media is actually beneficial for me. Can't spend too much time on it, but it helps me with my goal. And that's people are like, oh my God, like such a waste of time. It's so toxic, so awful. No, the way you're using it is. So remove that toxicity and then just turn the news off. Like you can get the news from other sources. You can go into Twitter, you can go into Facebook, Instagram, and get the shit super quick. You don't need to turn the news on. And my God, is it fucking every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is why people are unhappy. Turn that shit off. You're not staying informed from the thing that's happening hundreds of miles away from you. Turn it the fuck off. And if you need the actual news, get it sent to you in the email that you can briefly look through super quick. You don't need to watch it. Next thing. So, number 4, powerlifting. Powerlifting is a super powerful tool that I recommend. So, and it's simple. It's super simple to implement. It's literally write the 3 to 5 most important things you need to do each day down. First thing in the morning or the night before, whatever works best for you. Night before is technically better, but I forget a lot of times. So it's like first thing in the morning, get this shit out of my head. What are the most important things you need to do today? If you cross these off, you had a good, productive day. That's not all the things you're going to do today. You might have a massive list. But for example, Fridays, email goes on there. I need to send out an email. Send clients inspirational quote. That's a to-do. Like clients look forward to it, but like it's not the end of the world. Like I'm not going to lose a client because maybe I sent it on Saturday. Like shit, I forgot. I try not to forget, but again, what's the level of importance? A lot of people have everything and everything's of equal importance. Like, oh my God, I'm getting nothing done. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Like powerless that shit. The 5 and you max out 5. You cannot argue with this because think of the level of focus. We can really only focus for about 45 minutes hard, and then we need a break. Like 5 things is going to be about 5 hours of your time. If you have an 8-hour workday, you have other like bullshit in there, like that's all you're getting done. That's it. Like you can try to grind out more, and you probably will do other more smaller tasks, but these are the big things, like the big, really important. So like Mondays, we have what's our team meetings called our level 10 meeting. We do that. That's number 1. So on Monday, it's there. And the power of this, I'm about to get to it. And then to do, not a level thing, is a client reminder for their check-ins. But we have that. We have a call in our Facebook community every single Monday. There's 2. I have to send out email to our email list every Monday. There's 3. Post content. I've just grouped a thing of boring work, which is content, create conversations with people, etc. There's 4. And then I kind of leave that 5th one open. I probably could fill it right now off the top of my head, but I'm not going to think that hard because it's probably after this podcast. It's post the podcast. There's that. Usually this is done the day before. So like I'm recording this on Sunday, going out tomorrow on Monday, but it'll be like post that content. Like that goes in the boring work, which is technically multiple things. But you can see that filled up really quick. So you know what I don't do on Mondays? Add extra shit. Actually, 5th one, I have a call with my coach every Monday. So what do I do on Mondays? There's no super important tasks on Mondays. If there is, one of those have to go, and those are kind of non-negotiables. All those things have to happen. So Monday, that stuff's done. Moves right to Tuesday. Anything else? Hey, need to do these calls, need to do any like super moves to Tuesday or moves to Wednesday or moves to Thursday or Friday, like fills in the rest of the week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are client check-in days. All right, there's 1 out of the 5 automatically. Tuesdays, we have our client call and client open office hour call. There's 2. So there's only 3 other slots on Tuesdays for things to fill in. And Thursdays, we do another call in our Facebook community. There's only 3 other slots on that day. So the power here is also gives you ability to say no. Like someone trying to get you to do something, like, no, I can't do it on Monday. I can do it the next day. Or, hey, if you want me to do it, this isn't going to get done. Someone else will need to do it, or it'll have to be late. Like it'll have to get done on Tuesday. So it gives you, when you do that and say it's work, it gives you that power to be like, hey, I can do like things are either going to not get done well or just no, like I have too much on my plate for today. Like tomorrow, yes, but not today. Like not going to work. So it gives you that power. And when they're like, well, why not? You can be like, here are these things. You already have a list. So it's not like, why not? I'm too busy. Like we're all fucking busy. Much more power would be like, I have this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. And you can just whip out super quick and be like, boom, you want me to do that today? Cool. Something has to be taken off of my plate for me to do that to the level of expectation you want. And that's important to say too. Like you can get it done, but it's going to be shit quality. Like, or you can get it done right. Someone said there's 3 things you can have, and you can only have 2 out of the 3. It can be done fast, can be done cheap, and can be done well. You can only have 2 of those 3. So if you want it done fast and cheap, it's not going to be done well. If you want it to be done well and what's it? Well and fast, it's not going to be cheap. Did I just say that one? And then it's cheap and fast, or I said cheap and fast, not done well. Well and cheap. Well, it's not going to be fast. Like it'll take a while. Well and fast won't be cheap. Like you see the picture. Like you only get the 2. I'm like, I'm not going to spend any more time here. But that's a great example. Like when there's only so much energy, like this is presenting. So it gives you that power. And then the other thing it does, I'm too busy. Are you? Like once you start doing this, you're also going to write out your to-dos for the day. Like these are the other smaller tasks. Like, are you really that busy? Or are you fucking around on your phone for too long? What shit did you get done? You have all these tasks and you haven't crossed off any, but let's open up social media on your phone. How much time do you spend there? So it gives you also like self-checks you, like, I don't have time to work out. Like I've said that, like, fuck, I don't have time. Fuck, I will spend way too much time on my phone this afternoon. Like, fuck, I need to stop doing that. Like, okay, I just, no, that can't happen tomorrow. So I can self-check now because I've been doing it. It's like, there should be plenty of time to get all, then I pull up my phone, like, oh, fuck. Okay. I wasted way too much time. And now I'm not getting a workout in, and now I'm disappointing myself. And I just wasted time on like TikTok. So moving to the next one, we have nature therapy. So nature therapy is number 5. There are a couple ones, so I'll have some couple like bonus things right after this. But number 5 is nature therapy. This one's near and dear to my heart. It's easy to implement. There are levels to it. So There's a guide on nature therapy in the Peak Weight Loss Secrets Facebook group. Nature therapy, it sounds super hippie-ish, but it's basically just get outdoors. There's benefits to being outside, which help reduce your stress, help heal your body, and help improve your mental health, creativity, productivity, like everything you want, you can get from just being the fuck outdoors. So, with nature therapy, you can get benefits with just like walking around some trees or being in a garden or around some flowers or having some plants in your home, just being out around it for like a couple minutes, you'll get benefits. But the more you can immerse yourself, the more there is. So, kind of going back to like the sleep thing of like, why bother if I can get a perfect 8 hours? I'll just get 4. It's kind of the same thing here. There's the levels to it. So, starting with just getting 5 minutes of like some exposure gives you benefits. So you can start with that. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. And that's great. Fantastic. If you can do more, then do more. Like if you can go and sit on a bench in the park and listen to the birds for 20 minutes, awesome. And journal. Like if you can take your work outside and you can be on a laptop outside and do work, amazing. If you can do other things like go for a walk with your dogs and instead of through the neighborhood, it is on a trail, you will get benefits. Same amount of time, basically, like you will get benefits. So trying to get out into nature more. You don't have to be in the back country, though. Yes, you get more benefits. The more you immerse, the more time you spend. And there's something called the 3 day effect, where around 3 days, there's this massive benefits in being exposed to the outdoors, 72 hours. But just 5 minutes can give you benefits. And ideally, a lot of the benefits come from about 2 hours per week. So I'm not saying a day. I'm saying it's about 2 hours in a week give you a ton of benefits in reducing your stress, improving your health, etc. And these are independent. So when I'm saying these like improve your health, you're like, oh, well, you're exercising. So when that, so these are independent of exercise and everything else. So it's in it gives you even more benefit. So a lot of research done will view like stress reduction, like comparing like say on a treadmill in a gym versus walking outdoors in nature and that. So one study was done was they it was cool because they had people do both. It was actually looking at the immune system, which when the immune system functions properly, it's a sign like the body's healthy, it's not overly stressed out. So they sent one couple on a vacation in an urban setting and one in a more natural setting. The person in the more natural setting or the couple, they had a better, healthier immune function after the vacation, which lasted for about 2 weeks. Then they took the same people a couple months later, so time to wash out, and they flip flopped them to make sure like it wasn't just this couple. So now that couple that went to the urban environment first went to the natural. Guess what? Now they had that same benefit that the other couple had. And the couple who first went to the natural environment, went to the urban, no benefit to their immune system, no additional health benefits. So it just showed that being in nature is super, super helpful. And a lot of times, like for me, like I'm stuck on a problem, like it's a great way to get outside, go for a walk, hike. It's a great way to like solve problems. Just let your brain like do its thing. It's kind of like forced meditation, um, which are some of the bonus ones. Meditation is great. I'm really bad about it. I'm really bad about it. I need to be better. It's one of those things that I'm planning on starting very soon is trying to do some more meditation. I know my old boss, he's big into meditation and it helps him a ton. But if you do meditation, that's very helpful. And it's not like I'm going to like sit and light sage and manifest these things in my life. It doesn't need to be that. It can literally be like he puts on binaural beats and he kind of sits and thinks, and then he has a journal, and then I believe he writes down. Now I haven't been updated with how exactly he does his thing, but he just sits, no distractions, lets his brain do its thing for like 10 minutes, and whatever thoughts come to mind, he just like writes them down on paper, like gets them out of his head, writes them down on paper. Brain dumping is another way. So you're struggling with something. What should you do? You have all these thoughts. You have no clear direction. This is a great thing to do. So set a timer for 20 minutes. You're not moving for 20 minutes. Put on some like calming music, some binaural beats or something like that, pen to paper, and start the timer as soon as you write your first word, and the pen's not allowed to stop. So super hard to get started, but once you started, you're not going to stop. And you can go longer, but it's called brain dumping. You're going to get everything that comes to mind out. If you want to doodle a tree, you doodle a tree. But think of like the problem you're trying to solve. So maybe it's like, I'm struggling with my diet. How do I get better at my diet? Okay. So it's like, okay, start a timer and have like an initial thought to get you started, like more recipes. Where do I find more recipes? Maybe I should look on Google. Maybe ask Chris if he has guides for recipes. By the way, we do. Maybe look on Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest for recipes. Find free macro calculator. Download MyFitnessPal. Is there? I kind of don't like MyFitnessPal. Is there another app? I heard a chronometer. What's that? And you just like writing shit like that for 20 minutes. And you kind of see like already like if you're like, oh shit, like I see what that kind of you solve your own problems and you get clarity instead of like 1,000 thoughts and they're kind of like all jumbled up. You're just getting all the shit on paper, including the dumb things. Literally write everything. Like if something comes to mind and it's like a smiley face, like draw the fucking smiley face. I had some really dumb shit on mine and I just kept writing it. And then after you're done, you look at it, you're like, cool. Figure out the important things, get rid of the dumb things. Like that's stupid. Get rid of that. Hey, this is really good. Awesome. Take that, run with it. I really like ice baths. The physical benefits, we're still studying them. If you're big into hypertrophy or trying to build muscle, doesn't look like it looks like it might hurt your results. But I like it for the mental benefit. So talk about meditation, getting into the ice bath is like forced mental meditation for like 10 minutes for me because I'm trying to like not freeze. So definitely like, is it a stress to the body? Yeah, it's a stress to the body, but um, it gives me immense mental clarity. And then it's just that little go in, stress the body out a little bit, get out. So we're going to start wrapping this up. So went over 5 things plus a few bonus ones. So here's the last tip I'm going to give you. You want to make sure that you recharge your battery daily, weekly, and quarterly. So daily, weekly, and then like every 90 days, something quarterly. A lot of times people get burnt out, stressed out because they're doing things they don't love. Like you're working a corporate job, you just feel like you're a cog in the machine, like it's not fulfilling. You just feel like blah. And then you don't have enough time to do the things you really love to do. So you need to make sure you have time for that. And maybe it's like, oh, I have kids. I don't have time for that. Well, your kids see that you're just like, blah. Like go and do those things you really love. And probably your kids are going to like want to do it with you. Like, hey, what's mommy and daddy doing? Like, why do the like I don't understand why that hobby's so fun, but they seem to like it. So I want to be part of it or I want to learn. It's kind of how kids work. Or they're going to totally like, they're just going to chill out and do their own thing next to you. Like, awesome. It's family time. Everyone's doing shit they like. So, hobbies, doing something you feel like you contribute to and are aligned with, those are going to be really important. So, if you have some sort of hobby, I've talked multiple times on this podcast. Mine's hunting, gardening, getting outdoors, working out, shooting my bow, things like that. Try to do something like that daily. I'm not going to be able to hike 8 miles daily. I wish I could, but I can't. Like, that's just not realistic. But I can step outside and get into my garden. I can go outside and walk my dog in our little nature trail here. I can look up hunting stuff. I can do like e-scouting from my computer with OnX and kind of like figure out hunting stuff or figure out the food plot. Start making plans for that, which is something I was doing all winter. Like if there's during that lull time, like, all right, it's time to plan. Now it's like, all right, now I'm starting to train for a hunting season. Like get the bow out. Finally got the bow out for first time in a while. I'm like, man, I'm rusty. And 20 yards seems really far after you haven't shot it since January. Um, so there try to do something and it might not be daily, but it at least multiple times a week. And then again, something weekly, like we try to get in the garden and go for a hike, do something weekly that also kind of fills your battery. And this is important for you to always be 100%. This is going to help you recharge those mental and physical batteries so that you're not going into Monday like feeling like you're on like 20% already. You're already red and flashing on the iPhone, like, oh, 20%. Like, great. I have to survive the next 5 days. And the last one is the 12 on, 1 off. So I got this from my business coach who's like, he's has, I believe, a $55 million company. Um, so his thing was he works super fucking hard. Like everyone who works for him works super fucking hard. It's like, how the fuck do you grind it out? They're like, you can only grind it out for like 12 weeks and then you're burnt the fuck out. So it's like, do 12 weeks and then 1 off. Like every quarter, do 12 weeks and then take 1 off. And it might be a vacation. It might just be like work some half days that week, like 12 on, 1 off, 1 week off, and then you're back to your next 12. Like every quarter, you do that. A lot of schools are kind of set up that way. A lot of people kind of do their vacations that way. You might be doing this already, kind of, but you might be missing 1 or 2 quarters and you're like, why the fuck am I burnt out? Like maybe you need a vacation in March. Maybe you needed that vacation in June. But a lot of people are like Memorial Day, like we're going to hit that up. And then it's like Labor Day. Oh, look, what kind of are you doing? Then you have the holidays. But then it's like that January to like month 1 to 6, are you doing anything? So a lot of people don't, and you want to have that like 12 on, 1 off, and you can basically write this down on a calendar and kind of be like, okay, I'm going to grind it out, and then I'm going to take some PTO. I'm going to work some half days or shit for a week, and then back to grinding the fuck out, working my ass off, and then same thing. I kind of do the same thing with working out. Like if I'm going through a really hard training session, it's like 12 weeks on, then you need like 1 week off to let the body recover. Only if you're really grinding it out and pushing yourself hard. But if you are, you need that to recover. Like you're just beating your body up, beating your body up. And then it's like, take that week off. And a lot of people are like, what the fuck? But usually I'll get clients and they're like, I'm just not motivated. Like I just feel beat up. I'm like, cool, we're going to do deload week. They're like, I can't skip the gym. I'm like, you're not. You're just going to do less. And usually by like Thursday, they're like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, nope, you start Monday, do not do anything else. And then next Monday, they're like, yeah, I'm back to my old self. I'm motivated again. I'm ready to hit the gym. Like, cool, have fun this week. You needed that deload week. So those are my tips for stress management for you. There's obviously many, many more, but I wanted to give you something that was simple, easy to implement, and something everybody can do because we can go through 1,000 different things and it'll apply to maybe 50% of you listening. The other 50%, it's not going to apply to. Or you're like, I'm not willing to do that. That's super woo woo. Or like, that seems super boring and tedious. And like, I don't want to break out a spreadsheet and do that shit. Instead, I wanted to give you something like, hey, if you do all this, like gratitude journal and powerlifting, at most 10 minutes out of your day, remove toxicity out of your life. You're going to spend 1 hour, one day, maybe an hour, maybe, and just remove toxic people. Or maybe it's just slowly over time. Like this week, if something pops up that I'm like, ugh, I'm just going to unfollow that person. It might be me. I'm going to get more sleep. Like you can start that. Nature therapy is like, get outside more. Figure out what. I'm not telling you like, oh, go for a hike every weekend. Well, is that great? Yes. Do you need to? Well, if it doesn't fit your schedule, no, don't. It's hunting season for a lot of you. So you're out turkey hunting. Great. That's it. You're out. Nature therapy is forced during hunting season. But if you're not a hunter listening, you're not fishing, you're not a hiker, like maybe it's just going out in back deck, or maybe it's going out in garden, or you're like, I have always wanted to start a garden. It's like, cool, start one. Like just do some simple stuff. If you're not sure where to start, hit me up. I'll give you some things that are really hard to kill that you can do in some pots. You don't have to just buy some pots, buy some dirt, throw these things in there. Really hard to kill. Like start with that. So if you need any tips, just as always, hit me up. So down the bottom, show notes, make sure to check that stuff out. If anything, we have a powerlifting guide and with Gratitude Journal in the Facebook community. You can join that community by going down below and clicking the Peak Weight Loss Secrets community. If you need any help with anything else, one-on-one coaching, those links are down below. We're currently on a pause for taking on any new clients. So if you're interested in coming onto the program, we're not taking on anyone until May, which I know is next week, but we are actually like booked up, and we're even first week of May, we're only going to take on 1 or 2 people. So you'll get on a wait list. So down below is the application to join our coaching program. And then every Friday, there's going to be a freebie giveaway. So make sure get on the email list, which you can get on the email list by clicking down below and join the 5-day Faster Fat Loss course. Click that. You'll get on the email list. You'll get the 5-day free course where I teach you the exact things you need to do to lose weight successfully over the course of 5 days with 5 educational courses that are pretty short and simple and easy to implement. And we're doing freebie giveaways every single Friday. So you get free shit every Friday from the email list. So started that last week, and that's just going to be going from now till forever. So thanks for tuning in. Also, make sure to rate the show, give it a 5-star review, leave a review too. It helps people find the show so we can help more people.